Welcome back to Future Forward. Today we're tackling a big one, and I want to start with a statement that it might sound a little discouraging at first, but I promise you it's actually the key. Your first $1,000 online is the hardest you'll ever make.
It's so true, Gabriel. It really is. It's like this invisible wall people hit, and it's why so many incredibly smart, talented people get stuck at $0. They have the desire, they watch all the videos, they read the blogs, but that first dollar, let alone the first thousand, just never seems to happen.
Exactly. And the biggest misconception is that the problem isn't a lack of opportunity. People think, oh, the market's too saturated, or I don't have a unique enough idea. But that's not it at all.
Right. It's never about opportunity. The internet it's a universe of opportunities. The real problem, the thing that keeps people stuck, is a lack of clarity. It's decision paralysis. There are so many paths, so many gurus yelling at you to do affiliate marketing or drop shipping or freelancing that you end up doing nothing.
That's the core of it. Analysis paralysis. So today we're going to cut through all of that noise. No complicated funnels, no abstract theories.
Yep, and I'm going to give you a simple roadmap, a literal step-by-step blueprint that you can look at, understand, and actually start following today. The goal is to get you from 0 to that first 1K, because once you make that first 1K, everything changes.
It absolutely does. Which brings us to the first and, honestly, the most critical part of this entire process. It's the mindset shift you have to make before you do anything else.
Okay, yes, let's talk about this because I think this is where the shiny object syndrome really gets people. You have to, and I mean you have to, stop chasing passive income right at the start.
It's the ultimate dream, right? Make money while you sleep. And it's a great dream, but it's a terrible starting point. It's like trying to run a marathon without ever having jogged around the block.
Exactly. You need to build the muscle first. So the mindset shift is this. Focus 100% on active income first. Trade your time, trade your skill for money. Then, once you've proven you can do that, you can start to think about transitioning to passive. That's the trap, isn't it? The dream of passive income is so alluring that people try to start on step 10 instead of step 1. They spend months building a complicated system, like an online course or a membership site, without ever validating the core idea.
And it's a subtle trap too, because building a passive income stream, like an online course or an ebook, feels like you're building a real business. But you can spend 6 months building the perfect product, launch it, and make 0 sales. Why? Because you skipped the most important step, proving that people actually want what you have to offer. Active income forces you to validate your idea from day 1.
That's the trap, isn't it? The dream of passive income is so alluring that people try to start on step 10 instead of step 1. They spend months building a complicated system, like an online course or a membership site, without ever validating the core idea.
And it's a subtle trap too, because building a passive income stream like an online course or an ebook feels like you're building a real business. But you can spend 6 months building a perfect product, launch it, and make 0 sales. Why? Because you skipped the most important step, proving that people actually want what you have to offer. Active income forces you to validate your idea from day 1. The way I like to frame it is, think of that first $1,000 as your proof of concept. And that's all it is. It's not about getting rich tomorrow. It's not about quitting your job tomorrow. It's just you proving to yourself that you can take an idea, an action, and turn it into real money that hits your bank account.
Proof of concept. I love that. It takes all the pressure off. It's not this huge, life-changing goal. It's an experiment. Can I do this? Yes or no? And that leads to the final reframe here. You're not just making money with this first $1,000.
That's right. You're learning a skill, the most valuable skill, arguably. You're learning the process of value creation. You're learning how to identify a problem, create a solution, find a customer, and get paid. That skill, once you learn it, can basically print money for the rest of your life.
A skill that prints money. That's what it is. So, okay, mindset is set. We're focused on active income. We see this as a proof of concept, and we know we're building a skill. Now, what do we actually do?
And it's such a fundamental shift in how you view the world. You stop seeing your salary as the only source of income, this single tap that a company can turn off at any moment. Instead, you start seeing problems everywhere that you can solve. You see opportunities, not obstacles. This is where we get into the practical, actionable stuff. I've broken down the fastest paths to your first $1,000 into three main categories, and we'll go from fastest to most scalable.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's hear it.
All right, category number one, and this is without a doubt the fastest way to get to $1,000. Service-based income. This is classic freelance.
Yes, this is where you leverage a skill you either already have or can learn pretty quickly. We're talking about things like freelance writing, graphic design, video editing for YouTubers or TikTokers.
Or social media management for local businesses. A huge one right now is UGC, user-generated content creation. Brands will literally pay you to make simple, authentic-looking videos with their products. You don't even need a following.
It's an amazing entry point. The reason this category is the fastest is because you don't need to build a product or an audience. You just need one client to say yes. You're selling a direct solution to a direct problem.
Precisely. Okay, category two. This is a bit slower than services, but has a different kind of appeal. It's reselling, or arbitrage. And the beauty of the service model is that it's infinitely flexible. You can start small with one-off projects, and then as you build your reputation, you can transition to monthly retainers, which provides more stable, predictable income. That's the first step towards building a real business, not just a side hustle. And it's a huge confidence booster. When you're just starting out, the feedback loop is critical. With a service, you can get a yes and get paid within a week. That quick validation is like fuel. It tells you you're on the right track and gives you the energy to keep going, which you just don't get when you're working on a content strategy for 3 months with no feedback. And the barrier to entry is almost zero. You don't need a fancy degree or a decade of experience. If you have a laptop and a specific skill, you can start a service business tomorrow. People get so hung up on needing to be the best. You don't. You just need to be able to solve the problem for your specific client. That's the bar.
The classic flip: buy low, sell high.
That's the one. Think finding underpriced items at a thrift store and flipping them on eBay. Or finding a niche on Etsy and using a print-on-demand service to create t-shirts or mugs. You don't have to hold any inventory. You just create the design and a company like Printify handles the rest. And the great thing about reselling is that it trains your eye for value. It's like a real-world MBA in supply and demand. You start to understand trends, what people are willing to pay for, and how to spot a bargain. These are skills that are transferable to any business. It's not just about flipping stuff. It's about understanding the market.
And the print-on-demand model is so powerful for creatives. You could be an amazing illustrator, but the thought of buying 100 t-shirts, managing inventory, and handling shipping is a nightmare. This model completely removes that barrier. You can upload a design today and have a product for sale tonight with zero upfront cost. It's pure creative arbitrage. Facebook Marketplace is huge for this too. People flip furniture, electronics, anything really. The key here is you're a curator. You're finding value where others don't see it.
Absolutely. Now for the third category. This is the slowest path to the first 1,000, but it has the highest potential for scale, and that's content-based businesses.
So this is like becoming a YouTuber, a TikToker, a blogger.
Exactly. The initial goal here isn't direct sales. It's building an audience, building trust. Your first $1,000 will likely come from things like the YouTube Partner Program, or more likely, affiliate links. You review a product on TikTok, put a link in your bio, and get a commission on every sale.
It's slow because you have to put in a lot of work up front, making content with, no guarantee of a payout. But once you have that audience, the scaling potential is massive. One video can make you money for years. And it's a very different skill set, right? Being a service provider is about doing the work. Being a content creator is about teaching, entertaining, and building a community. It's a longer game, but the leverage you get from a loyal audience is unparalleled. It's the foundation of a modern, scalable brand.
That's the perfect way to summarize it. So to recap, speed comes from services, scale comes from content, and reselling is somewhere in the middle. The key is understanding that trade-off.
Okay, so now we have the mindset and we have the paths. This is where people usually get overwhelmed and freeze. So, what's the actual, day one, step by step plan?
This is the actionable blueprint, and it's only 4 steps, super simple. Step 1, and this is non-negotiable, pick one method and stick to it. And let's be honest, we all get stuck in that freeze mode. I've been there. You have this perfect plan, but the fear of taking that first step is paralyzing. It's like standing on the edge of a diving board. You know what to do, but you're just stuck. Breaking it down into these simple, manageable steps is the only way to overcome that.
Oh my gosh, yes, no hopping. Don't decide to be a freelance writer on Monday, a print on demand expert on Wednesday, and a TikToker on Friday. You will get nowhere.
You'll just be in a constant state of starting over. Pick one. Commit to it for at least 90 days. Okay, step 2, learn just enough to get started. I'm talking 1 to 2 days max. Exactly, it's about building a focus muscle. Every time you get distracted by a new shiny object, you're weakening that muscle. But every day you stick to your one thing, even when it's hard, you're making it stronger. That discipline is more valuable than any business idea.
This is another trap. People think they need to take a 6-month course to become a video editor. No, watch a few YouTube tutorials on the basics of CapCut or DaVinci Resolve. You learn by doing, not by studying forever.
Exactly. Step 3, create a simple, clear offer. Don't say, I'm a graphic designer. That's too vague. Get specific. I think a great rule of thumb is the 80-20 rule, but in reverse. Spend 20% of your time learning and 80% of your time doing. If you find yourself watching more than an hour of tutorials for every 4 hours of actual work, you're probably stuck in consumption mode. You have to force yourself to create, to reach out, to build.
Yeah, be super specific. I will edit 3 TikToks for your brand for $30. Or I design clean, aesthetic logos for small wellness brands for $100. It's so clear what the person gets and what it costs.
A clear offer is an easy offer to say yes to, which brings us to step 4, the most important one, daily action. This means daily outreach, daily posting, or daily listing. Whatever your chosen method requires, you do it every single day. And that offer will evolve. Your first offer is just a starting point. It's a hypothesis. You might find that people are willing to pay more or that they want a slightly different service. You only learn that by putting an offer out there and getting feedback from the market. You can't learn that in a course.
This is where the magic happens, consistency. The focus has to be on imperfect action over perfection. Your first outreach message will probably be awkward. Your first product listing will have bad photos. Your first TikTok will be cringe. It doesn't matter. Do it anyway.
It's the only way to learn and improve. You can't steer a parked car. You have to be in motion. So you have your one thing, you've learned the basics, you have a clear offer, now what? How do you actually put that offer in front of people and get that first customer? It's like building a snowman. The first little snowball is the hardest part. You have to pack it together, get it just right. But once you have that, you can start rolling it and it picks up more and more snow with less and less effort. That's momentum. Daily action is how you build that initial snowball.
Okay, the customer acquisition question. Let's break it down by method. If you chose a service, the most direct way is cold outreach. Find businesses on Instagram or LinkedIn that you could help and send them a direct message.
And don't just say, hey, hire me. That's lazy. Your message should be about them. Something like, hey, brand name, I love your mission. I notice your recent videos don't have captions, which can really hurt engagement. I specialize in creating fast, engaging captions for brands like yours. Any interest in a quick chat?
That's perfect. It's specific, it shows you've done your research, and it offers value. Another way for services is to create listings on platforms like Fiverr or Upwork. People are actively searching for solutions there. You just have to be visible.
Right. And for the reselling or print-on-demand model, your customer acquisition is listing. Getting your products up on Etsy, eBay, or Facebook Marketplace. The platform itself is a source of customers. Your job is to optimize your listings with good keywords and great photos. I think that's a key point. On platforms like Upwork and Fiverr, your profile is your storefront. You have to treat it like real estate. Use a professional photo, write a compelling bio that focuses on the results you deliver for clients. And for your first few jobs, you might have to underprice yourself a bit to get those crucial first reviews. Think of it as a marketing expense.
And then for the content path, it's a content strategy. Pick a platform, probably TikTok for speed, and start posting valuable or entertaining videos in your niche. Your content is your marketing. It attracts the people who will eventually click your affiliate links.
And here is the key insight that I really want people to internalize. For your first $1,000, you do not need a huge following. You don't need to go viral. You just need one person to say yes. And with a content strategy, it's about playing the long game. You're not just making videos, you're building a library of assets. A video you post today could bring in leads for years. So while it's the slowest path to your first dollar, it's often the most sustainable and scalable in the long run.
One person, that's it. One client, one sale, one commission. The entire goal is to get that first yes. Because that one yes proves the concept. It makes it real. It's the spark that lights the fire.
Which leads perfectly into the next crucial topic, a realistic timeline and expectations, because I think social media has completely warped our perception of how this works.
Completely. You see these kids on TikTok saying, I made $10,000 my first month dropshipping, and it sets this totally unrealistic bar. People try for 2 weeks, don't see results, and quit.
Right, so here's the truth. The first $100 is the hardest part. It is monumentally harder to go from 0 to 100 than it is to go from 100 to 1,000.
So true, because that first $100 is where you're fighting all the self-doubt, the learning curve, the awkwardness. Once you get that first sale, momentum starts to build. You get a little more confident, you refine your offer, you learn what works. The ball starts to roll.
So what does a typical, realistic timeline look like for someone starting from absolute scratch? Based on what we've seen, it usually breaks down like this. Weeks 1 to 2 are for learning and outreach. You're sending messages, making listings, posting content, and probably hearing crickets. This is the grind. It really is. And I think it's important to celebrate that first $100 like it's a million. Frame the check. Take a screenshot of the PayPal notification, whatever it is. Mark that moment, because that's the proof. That's the evidence you can look back on when you're feeling discouraged. It's your I did it once, I can do it again moment.
Yeah, this is the valley of despair, and you have to push through it. Then, typically in weeks 3 to 4, if you've been consistent, you'll start to see your first sales trickle in. That first $50, $100, $200. It feels like magic.
It really does. And from there, it's about continuing that consistency. For most people, hitting that $1,000 mark and achieving a more consistent income takes around 2 to 3 months. Not 2 weeks, 2 to 3 months.
We have to normalize that slow start. It's not a sign that you're failing, it's a normal part of the process. Every successful person you see online went through that same quiet, frustrating beginning. They just didn't quit.
Not quitting is 90% of the battle, which is a good segue into the biggest mistakes we see people make, the specific reasons why they fail to reach that first $1,000.
It's so true. The highlight reels on social media are just that, highlights. They don't show the hundreds of no's, the failed experiments, the moments of wanting to give up. If you can go into this journey with the expectation that the first month or two will be about learning and building, not earning, you'll have the mental fortitude to actually succeed.
Oh yeah, let's cover these. The first one we already mentioned, but it's worth repeating. Switching ideas too frequently. Shiny object syndrome is the #1 killer of progress. You can't build momentum if you keep changing direction.
Number 2 is a big one, consuming content instead of doing the work. It feels productive to watch another YouTube video about how to get clients, but it's not. It's a form of procrastination. You have to spend at least 80% of your time creating, listing, or reaching out, not learning.
It's like trying to get fit by constantly switching workout plans. You do keto for a week, then paleo, then vegan. You never give your body a chance to adapt and show results. It's the same with business. You need to give a strategy time to mature and yield results. The initial phase is always the hardest and shows the least results, and that's precisely when people are most tempted to jump ship. You have to fight that impulse.
It's the illusion of progress. Your brain gets a little hit of dopamine from learning something new, and it feels like you're moving forward. But learning without application is just a hobby. You have to be a practitioner, not a theorist. The goal isn't to know everything, it's to know just enough to take the next step. Then you learn a little more and take the next step. It's a cycle of learning and doing, not just learning.
It's like trying to get fit by constantly switching workout plans. You do keto for a week, then paleo, then vegan. You never give your body a chance to adapt and show results. It's the same with business. You need to give a strategy time to mature and yield results. The initial phase is always the hardest and shows the least results, and that's precisely when people are most tempted to jump ship. You have to fight that impulse.
It's the illusion of progress. Your brain gets a little hit of dopamine from learning something new, and it feels like you're moving forward. But learning without application is just a hobby. You have to be a practitioner, not a theorist. The goal isn't to know everything, it's to know just enough to take the next step. Then you learn a little more and take the next step. It's a cycle of learning and doing, not just learning.
100%. Another one is just overcomplicating things. People think they need a perfect website, a business license, a custom logo, and a full-fledged social media strategy before they can even start. No, you need an offer and a way to tell people about it. That's it.
Waiting for the perfect niche falls into this category too. There is no perfect niche. Pick something you're reasonably interested in and that has a market, and go. You can always pivot later.
The last one, and this is a deep one, is the fear of rejection. People are so afraid of hearing no or being judged that they never put their offer out there. You have to reframe rejection. It's not a failure, it's just data. Every no gets you closer to a yes.
This is a huge one. I see people spending a month trying to find an untapped niche. The reality is, if a niche is a complete ghost town with no competition, it's probably because there's no money to be made there. Competition is a sign of a healthy market. It proves that people are willing to spend money on that problem. Don't look for an empty field, look for a busy marketplace where you can carve out your own unique stall.
Exactly. It's a form of self-sabotage. We're afraid to fail, so we create all these elaborate excuses for why we can't start. I'm not ready, I need to do more research, the timing isn't right, but the only way to get ready is by starting. The only way to overcome that fear is to do the thing you're afraid of. There's no other way.
This is the fun part, because now you have proof of concept and a little bit of confidence. The first and easiest way to grow is simply to raise your prices. If you got 3 clients at $50, try getting the next one at $75 or $100. You're more experienced now. Your work is worth more.
Great. The next level is to turn your service into a product. If you've been designing logos one-on-one, maybe you could create a set of logo templates and sell them as a digital product. This is your first step towards that passive income dream.
Productizing your service. It's such a powerful concept. And of course, now is a great time to start consciously building an audience. You've proven your value, so start sharing your knowledge on social media. Document your journey. This attracts inbound leads instead of you always having to do outbound outreach.
Absolutely. For example, if you're a social media manager who creates amazing content calendars for your clients, you could package those templates, create a 30-day social media starter kit with post ideas, caption templates, and a content calendar. You're taking the intellectual property you developed through your service and turning it into a scalable asset. That's the first real step towards leveraged income. And once you have those systems in place, higher prices, a product, and an audience, that's when you can truly begin to automate and introduce more passive income streams. You can hire other freelancers to help with the work. You can create an online course. The options expand exponentially. And that's the beautiful thing about building an audience. You're not just building a customer list, you're building a community. You're creating a space where people come to you for your expertise and your perspective. That's an asset that goes far beyond any single product or service. It's the foundation of a long-term, sustainable brand.
The fundamental transition that's happening here is you're moving from selling your time to building leverage. Your audience is leverage. Your digital products are leverage. Your team is leverage. That's the key to scaling beyond just being a freelancer.
Well said, which brings us to our closing thoughts. We've given you the mindset, the paths, the blueprint, the timeline, the mistakes to avoid, and the path to scale. But I want to end on a motivational point. It's the difference between being a technician and an owner. A technician gets paid when they work. An owner gets paid because they've built a system that works. The goal is to evolve from being the person who does the thing to the person who owns the system that does the thing. That's the path to real freedom.
Yes, please listen to this carefully. Your first $1,000 changes how you see money forever.
It does. It's a paradigm shift. Money stops being this thing you just get from a job. It becomes something you can create on demand from your own ideas and your own efforts. It's a feeling of empowerment that is honestly priceless.
It proves that you don't need luck. You don't need permission. You just need execution. A simple plan followed with relentless consistency.
It really is. You begin to understand that money is a reflection of the value you create. It's not something that's just given to you, it's something you earn by solving problems. And once you truly grasp that, you see a world of infinite possibility. It's the most empowering feeling, and it's a lesson that will serve you for the rest of your life far beyond that first $1,000. So, we're going to leave you with a challenge, not a suggestion, a challenge. Pick one of the methods we discussed today, freelancing, reselling, or content, just one, and take your very first action within the next 24 hours.
Don't just think about it, do it. Send that one DM, create that one Etsy listing, film that one TikTok video. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done.
That's the challenge. And if you're taking us up on it, let us know. Comment on our socials with the hashtag 1K if you're starting today.
We'd love to see it. And of course, if you found this breakdown helpful, make sure you're subscribed to Future Forward for more episodes just like this. Next week, we're diving deep into the best side hustles that actually have the potential to scale into a full-time business. You won't want to miss it.
Until then, take that first step. We'll see you next time.